Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 24 of 31 progressive rock stocking stuffers for the holidays from 1971. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody. We're going to take a look at an album that was released 50 years ago this year, actually last month, November 1971, produced by the band as well as Peter Hawkey and Dieter Dierks. Remember that name? Great producer of Eloy and the Scorpions. Very famous German producer. Although this is not a German band, although many people do always kind of, I think, misremember them as a German band because of their connection to Germany. They played a lot in Germany. They lived there for a while. Like they got produced by Dieter Dierks, but no, they were a British band. This album is their debut, released on the Bacillus label, talking Journey to the Center of the Eye by Nectar. Yes, not a German band. Right? Not a German band. They some of their early music could be considered space rock, and like I said, they lived in Germany, produced by Dieter Dierks, right? But not a German band, actually a British band. And this was their debut album, featuring Roy Albrighton on guitars and vocals, the late Roy Albrighton. Mick Brockett on liquid lights. He was always listed as a member of the band. He put together their light show. Always very interesting stuff going on at a Nectar concert throughout the years. Alan Taft Freeman on mellotron pianos, organ, and vocals. You got Ron Howden on drums and percussion. Derek Moe Moore on mellotron, bass, and vocals. And Keith Walters on static slides, whatever that might be, the slideshow. So you got two guys who were part of the live presentation of the music, and then the musicians themselves. So this album, basically a kind of, you can call it an early space rock concept album, although not quite as space rocky as, let's say, Hawkwind or Tangerine Dream or something like that, but definitely prog rock that's kind of goes out there. And this whole tale of the journey to the center of the eye, to the Dream Nebula, pretty intense stuff. You can kind of this is one of those albums I think needs to be listened to as a whole, kind of like Remember the Future, which is like basically one long track divided up into two album sides. This is not that much different. Basically all the songs kind of bleed into the next, but yet they are, separated by 13 individual tracks. Kind of hard for me to kind of pick out favorites among this because, again, it's one of those albums that you kind of listen to start to finish. But Astronaut's Nightmare is really cool. Countenance is fun. I love the Dream Nebula Part 1 and Part 2 for that matter. That's probably like the most, famous section of music from this album. It's just got this great guitar from Albright. It's just chilling stuff. Love it. But there's other great sections here. Burn Out My Eyes is really good. I love the last part of the album too, which gets pretty intense, very spacey, very creepy. You got Pupil of the Eye, Look Inside Yourself, and Death of the Mind. Really, really interesting album. However, this is one of those bands of many who I think released a very strong album, their debut album, but then continued to get better. I actually like the next couple albums even more than this, although this is a very noteworthy debut. This is a little bit less. Their follow-up albums are a little more rockin', maybe a little more straight prog rock as opposed to the more space rock direction of this album. Like Tab in the Ocean is definitely a heavier album, I think, more of kind of like Hammond organ guitar based album, not quite like Deep Purple or Uriah Heep, but in a proggy sense. Remember the Future is definitely a prog rock album, definitely epic in scope. Sounds Like This has like heavy blues rock and more traditional hard rock on it, and then you get Recycled is total mid 70s, late 70s space rock, progressive rock, and then they would go toy with a little more mainstreamy type sounds, and of course in more recent years they've gotten back to 70s style prog rock. But Journey to the Center of the Eye I know is a favorite for a lot of people. It's definitely a trippy psychedelic listen for sure. And I think it's in their catalog. This is kind of like sits on its own because it's very different, I think, from a lot of their other albums, but in a good way. That's the good thing about Nectar. They never did the same album twice. Even in the 70s in their glory years, all those albums most of the ones I just mentioned, each one is very different from the one that came before it and the one that's after it. And kudos to the guys in the band for always cranking out something that was noteworthy and something that was different from what they had done before. So Journey to the Center of the Eye is your choice from Nectar, a great, great British prog rock band, for the 24th of December. We don't have much time left. We're going to kind of take this all the way through to the 31st, and then we're going to move into January. January 1 starts my favorite albums of my top 31 favorite albums from 1972 that are turning 50 years old in 2021. It's a mouthful. But yeah, I'm going to be picking across all genres my favorite 31 albums that are turning 50 years old starting in January. Next year, 50th anniversary of them. I'm going to give you my favorites, and I'm going to urge everybody to do the same each and every day in the comments below. So that's starting January 1, so that should be a lot of fun. But for now, until the end of December, we're looking back to 1971 albums, prog rock favorites from 1971 that turned 50 years old this year as a precursor to what we're doing in January. So Nectar, Journey to the Center of the Eye. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned. Coming up tomorrow, Christmas Day, we've got another selection for you. So for all of you who celebrate the holidays, enjoy yourselves, whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah or what have you. Have a great day today and tomorrow, and we'll see you all real soon here, because we are here all the damn time. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.